Hey everybody, happy lunchtime. Today is, what is today? Today's Thursday. And this is going to be my last live stream for a while because I'm out next week at Schneider's big innovation summit show next week. And I got interviews lined up with a lot of the big shots that cover, all their different products from process to discrete to PLCs, HMI, SCADA, and all that. So I'm really looking forward to that. Also going to be posting some videos from the show. And even this morning, I was talking to the Edge IO folks, and we're going to be releasing that soon as well. That's like a great deep dive on their brand new Edge IO NTS system, the Modicon Edge IO NTS. So I think you guys are going to like that. And that's using that IO with Rockwell. So I think you guys stay tuned for that. I hope to release that early next week. And of course, I told you yesterday we have a podcast coming early because I'm dedicating that middle of the week for Schneider videos because they're hiring me to come out to this show and show me all this stuff. So in any case, we're moving the podcast up. And it's a really good podcast. I'm only halfway done editing it. I got so much to do before I fly out Monday. But in any case, I'm looking forward to getting that out to you guys as well because that's a cool product from another vendor. But today at this lunchtime, what are we here to talk about? We're talking about how to add some Rockwell IO to a Rockwell system. And on Tuesday, we took a look at the 1769 AENTR, which is not the most popular adapter out there. I like it, but I think a lot more people use Flex and Point. And plus, there's the new stuff, right? There's Flex 5000, there's 5069, and there's this thing called Point Max, which I know nothing about, but I saw a webpage on Rockwell's website about it. But in any case, usually when I can't get them sampled and I have to pick them up used, I have to wait a few years for them to come down into my price range. Although I really do appreciate it when vendors like Schneider send me out their IO and sit with me and bring me up to speed on it. That's just so cool. But in any case, so today we're going to take a look at the Flex IO. And this has been out for a very long time. A lot of people don't know that this is one of the few Rockwell products you can mount vertically, okay? So I see a lot of people mount PLCs vertically from Rockwell. I don't think you're going to find any PLCs from Rockwell that are authorized or manufactured to be mounted vertically. So always mount those horizontally. But Flex IO and Point IO can be mounted vertically, which I think is so cool. And in any case, now Flex IO is a little bit old, but one of the things I always loved about Flex IO is these terminal blocks. This was just a joy to wire up, right? And in any case, let me go ahead and zoom in here. Where did I put my remote? Oh, reach over. And let's go ahead and zoom in even more. And you can see I have a syncing input and a sourcing output, unlike earlier in the week. And yeah, this was a total joy to wire up. And I actually have another one of these, and for some reason it wasn't working, so I swapped it out really quickly. And I'll have to look into that, see if I can figure out why that one wasn't working. But in any case, you can see here it's on the network and it's running because I wanted to test this before I did the live stream. But in any case, you can see I've dialed in 194. Now, on Tuesday, I thought I had dialed in the right number, but actually in my testing, because I had a bad end cap, I actually dialed that one into 999 so I could set it via boot P. So I misspoke on Tuesday. I forgot about all the troubleshooting I was doing because of the bad end cap. But in any case, you can see right here, this is what it looks like. And the only thing I don't like about FlexIO, or I think I should say, the only thing worth mentioning that I don't like about a FlexIO is the connectors between the bases. You gotta have those lined up because if you don't, you can bend the pins. There's enough space in there that if you're not perfectly lined up, like if you're trying to assemble it on your workbench, you can bend those pins. And when it first came out in the 90s, and I'm trying to remember the year, I don't remember the year, but when it first came out in the 90s, did a lot of remote IO and device net with this and controlling that. People were bending the pins a lot. I mean, a lot. We get a lot of angry calls. So those days are long gone. I think everybody who uses it knows how to assemble it correctly without bending the pins. And in any case, we're going to set this up today. And yeah, I like it. I like the flexibility of being able to mount it vertically. I like the terminal blocks built in. It's just, like I said, it's a joy. You know, when I was wiring up the 69 stuff, getting everything under that inside that door, it's kind of cramped. I mean, there's enough room, but there's not a lot of extra room. Whereas with this design, you got plenty of extra room, right? And so in any case, let's go ahead and go over to the computer now and actually go ahead and set this up. So let me come over here, And I think the button I want is this one right here. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So in any case, what I want to show you is I'm in Studio 5000. I just wanted to show you I'm browsing the Ethernet network here. Okay, the Ethernet IP. And of course, I'm running 192.168.1 here in the office. And you can see that we're finding, I put it at 194 because it's a 1794. And then you can see the two modules I have right there. And so in any case, what I'm going to do is, can I right click? Nah, I can't right click and go on properties like I can in RS Links. In any case, what I want to do now is I'm going to close this, right? And this is a project I already saved. It's just the same project I used before, except designed for today instead of Tuesday. And so I'm just going to come over here to Ethernet, and let's make sure you guys can see what I'm doing, okay? And make sure my audio is coming through. Great. And I do not have the chat up. Give me a second here to get the chat up. Okay, so if you guys want to chat at me, I'll check that occasionally. So let me come back over here, new module. And we're going to look for the 1794 AENT. I thought I had an R. Again, maybe I have one somewhere. I don't know. But in any case, I wanted to do this. And of course, I created this little demo kit, this little demo board with all the buttons and lights for my students who come here for in-person training. And if you're in one of my online courses, you're going to see these lessons start showing up here after Thanksgiving. So what am I going to call this? I'm going to call this Flex A, just for the first flex rack I have. I'm going to put in the address 194. And of course, you could just click that and put in 194. But now, the unit I have, I believe it's a 3. How would we check this? We would go to RS Links, and we would right-click on it and go to Module Configuration. And here you could see it is, no, it's a 4. I guess the other one I had that I was having problems with was a 3. And I think both my modules are 1s, so I'm just going to right-click on them and go to 1. So they are. So let me go ahead and click that. And I don't know if you noticed this, but it set it up with 8 modules. And again, like what we saw earlier in the week, I don't think I have to change that. Unlike Point IO, I don't think I have to change that to match exactly what I have. We will find out. I don't remember in the practice run having to change that. So just like Tuesday, you didn't have to match it up exactly. All right, so my first one is a 1794. And then this guy, it's an IB, I believe. Yeah, there she is. Got that. Okay, version 1. Bada bing, bada bang. Now we'll do the OB. Okay, you gotta like the simplicity of these model numbers, right? Or catalog numbers. Okay, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Okay, now if we want to go look at the tags, we can see in here I have slot 0 and slot 1. So this is different than the 1769 because slot 0 was taken up by the adapter itself. Here, we don't have to worry about that. We have slot 0 inputs. Okay, here's my 16 inputs. And I like this very simple. It's not like a submember of a submember, right? And then I have slot 1 outputs. Okay, there they are. Easy peasy, right? Okay, so now to save time, I had to do this on Tuesday, but I thought ahead here. I went ahead and added in the ladder so that if I push the first button, the first pilot light comes on and so on, 0 through 9, because I have 10 operators here and 10 lights. So I don't know, let's do a verify, see if this thing passes muster. No errors down here. Okay, we'll do communications who active. See if this goes as smoothly as I hope it does. We're going to the L30ER download. You may ask, Sean, why aren't you using your 5380? Well, it uses the same 24 volt DC power that I'm using to power this guy. So instead of trying to daisy chain the jacks so I can run them both at the same time, I figured I'll just use the L30 because that's running off of a PA2, which is 120 volts. So in any case, we'll just let this thing download. And I just think, you know, the ease of the integration when it's integrated into the tree here is just pretty cool. So let's go ahead and put it into run mode. And we'll find out now if we're getting any errors, if anything's wrong. Everything seems to be looking. Now, what I'm going to do here is what I did on Tuesday as well. I'm just going to reach out here and I'm going to press a button, the first button. Actually, I had this button was bad. I had to replace it. I don't know what happened to the button. But yeah, so simple, right? So now let's go back over to the overhead cam here and see if everything's working. Oops. Yep, got those. Got these. Beautiful. All going through the PLC now. Let me disconnect this guy here. Okay, so she's no longer on the network. So even though I can turn the input on, the outputs won't turn on because that's being controlled by the code, right? And of course, my PLC, which you can't see here, it's giving me a flash and IO light. And so let me grab my Ethernet cable, which I dropped on the ground, and we'll plug her back in. And, you know, I just compare this to when this product line first came out and we were using it on remote IO. Yeah, not nearly as simple as that. Nope. But not bad, though. Not bad. I still enjoy doing some remote IO. I actually plan on doing a class on SLC 500s and PLC 5s. Start working on that, filming that this December. But yeah, you just need somebody to show you how it works, and it's really not that bad. And DeviceNet too, although with the DeviceNet version of this, I found that on first power up, and this may have changed over the years, but originally when it came out on DeviceNet, and I know people who had, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 of these racks on DeviceNet with digital modules anyways. The adapter, the DeviceNet adapter, which I do have some, I do want to do a DeviceNet class at some point. But in any case, the DeviceNet adapter would read all the modules when it first powered up for the first time, and then it would just hold on to that configuration with its whole life. And if you ever changed the configuration, or you know, maybe you powered it on before you had all the modules installed, it was like people used to get so frustrated that the unit would not, you know, that it was difficult to change the adapter's settings. But that was a DeviceNet thing. This also works on ControlNet extremely well as well. But there you can see how easy it is to use FlexIO. Really, just as easy as it was to use really any of the I/O that Rockwell has, and to get it into the Ethernet IP and into the controller. I mean, if we go back when I started 35 years ago, it was not easy. You know, remote IO, Data Highway Plus. Well, Data Highway Plus was always easy, but remote IO wasn't. But in any case, that is today's lunchtime edition of the Automation Show. I was going to say Tech Tip, but really this is an episode of the Automation Show because it's more than just a couple of minutes. So in any case, so as far as what's coming, if you guys want to see anything else, I do have more of these boards I'm building. I got Point IO. I got a Point IO with IO Link. I just need to find an IO Link device to use with it. But I think I still have some P&F's pepper infused devices that I can use. And I got, what else do I have? I have the 5069 adapter. I'm a little short on modules because they're so very expensive, so I'll have to steal them off one of the other PLCs. But I am going to be putting that together. Matter of fact, I should grab those modules and bring them home so I can wire them up. But in any case, so I still have more of these boards to build. Then it's on to the VFDs. We get some beautiful Siemens VFDs that were sampled to us. And if you guys missed my LinkedIn, I was actually gaming with a buddy of mine last night, and we came across some very recognizable VFDs in the video game. So go check my LinkedIn out for that. But in any case, yeah, so we got lots of stuff to do, lots of new shows to have. But for now, we're going to leave it at that. Next week, we get the Automation Podcast coming out early, and then it's going to be really dedicated to Schneider because they invited me to come to their big show. I know there are other vendors having shows at the same time, but they didn't invite me. Only Schneider did, and I'm so excited because when you see this new Edge, I want to say it correctly, Modicon Edge IO NTS system, I think you're going to really like it, and it was super easy to bring it into, you know, Logix. So I think you guys are going to really like that, and hope to release that early next week, along with all kinds of other videos I'll be doing. I'll be doing some shorts too, kind of. You know, while I'm there, I'm going to be doing short, maybe 60-second videos, just kind of summarizing some of the stuff. And then when I come back, I want to do longer editions of those videos. But in any case, I just want to wish you guys all good health and happiness. I will not be back tomorrow. I have not finished building this. I'm just getting ready. There's a lot of stuff, studio stuff I got to bring with me. So in any case, I want to wish you all good health and happiness. And until next time, my friends, peace.